Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, brother Naquam.
Shalom, shalom, brother Tazman, the bar Allah.
Coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire. We're giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Malak Yabashai. Double honor to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahushua. The hardy, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom to those men. Shalom to the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom to those men. Shalom to the sisters out there, diligent, zealous, on fire, moving in the spirit of our ancient righteous foremothers. And shalom to the ancient men, the children, and last but not least, shalom to everybody tuning in live on another Monday Night Fire. All praises to Yahweh Shemiel Shah. Khan, you got it, King.
Khan, right. Of course, as always, giving all honor and glory to Abanawa, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, by Shema Shah, Wamalakwa, Adanya, Yahweh Shah, Tasa, Doctor, the righteous, Slak, and of course, giving strong shalom and mighty Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shah, Brock, Washmar, Thumb to all of the mighty Zaquanium, the elders in Israel, the Akim, the Aqua, and Banyam, right, the brothers and sisters and children that tuned into another powerful Monday Night Fire through the Spirit to all Israel and to all watching. Shalom.
Khan, 7 ways to be your brother's keeper, right? And we're going to go back into the basics, man. This is deep, but it's also the basics. You know, we want to understand when you come into the knowledge of Yahweh Shemiel Shah, the second greatest commandment that the Most High gave us is what? Let's go to St. Mark chapter 12. And I'm going to pull it up on the screen. We'll go to Mark chapter 12 and verse number 29. What did Yahweh Shah say? Right? When they asked him, what is the greatest commandment? Right? What did Yahweh Shah say? This is the book of St. Mark, chapter 12 and 29. And Yahweh Shah answered them, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So if you're not exercising the love of your neighbor, then what are you doing in this truth, man? Right? And we're going to go into 7 ways on how to be your brother's keeper. And being your brother's keeper goes back, those words verbatim go back to Genesis, the 4th chapter, concerning the murder of the righteous Abel from his brother Cain, where Cain told the Most High, he said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper? You know, and being your brother's keeper is being your brother's protector, watching over your brother, right? Keep goes back to the Hebrew word shamar, which means to watch over his spirit, watch over his life, watch over his mind, watch over his soul, watch over his body, watch over his well-being, and you watch over his family, right? In prayer and fasting and checking on brothers and doing the work of the Most High, correcting brothers, order. These are the things that we do as a people to make sure that we are being our brother's keeper through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shah, right? I want to actually get that in Genesis, the 4th chapter. So bidding this truth like we always go into, and we're going to continually say it, it's not about what you know in terms of all parables and all of the in-depth knowledge and breakdowns. It's about how you apply these scriptures in your life for yourself, your household, your family, your brother, and ultimately serving, you know, Yahweh Shemiel Shah, right? How do you live this truth, especially when it comes to dealing with your brother, right? Genesis chapter 4 and verse number, I'm going to start at, I'm not going to read this whole thing, right? But I'm going to start at Genesis chapter 4 and 8. It reads, and Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Remember, Abel had an offering, Cain had an offering. They were taught the law of sacrifice by their father Adam to make reconciliation for their sins. Abel and Cain both knew the law. Abel did the law, kept the law, pursuant to Numbers 18:21 on down. Cain disregarded the law, right? Abel was righteous. Cain was wicked. Cain rose up and murdered his brother Abel. And verse number 9 says, and Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Right? He said, where is Abel thy brother? He said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And that's a sinister, sarcastic, demonic question that Cain asks. Because Cain, not only did he know where his brother was, he also knew that he is his brother's keeper. That's essentially saying, you murder your brother, say, where your brother at? I don't give a damn. Man. What you want me to watch over him, protect him? You want me to love that Negro, man? The hell with him. That's what Cain was saying, right? So you're supposed to learn from this and understand that you can't move in that same spirit as Cain and exercise hatred towards your neighbor in word and deed and in thought. And also, you can't be the brother who claims that he's an Israelite and says, Kwam Yashal and rise Israel, and you speak so highly of yourself and your congregation and Yahweh Shai, but you really hate your brother. You have to be your brother's keeper, right? You have to pray for your brother, check on your brother, rebuke your brother, exhort your brother. Hey, you might have to get on your brother, man. Hey, you may fast with your brother, you mourn with your brother, you weep with your brother. This truth is about being selfless. And it's about understanding that the world, and it doesn't revolve around you. Not to be long-winded, but one more point, in the world, everything's about you and what makes you feel good. And you can't transition that mentality into this truth. A lot of people come into this truth and they heap up knowledge for themselves. So they could be the top teacher. They could be well-known. They could be famous. They could be men of renown. And they disregard the aspect of this truth is not necessarily about you. It is about Yahweh Shai and the knowledge the Most High gave you on how to deal with your brother. Right? But you got it, King.
Right, and that word also in the Hebrew, right, goes back to being a watchman, right, a watcher, right, over your brethren as well. Or actually, let me get a quick precept, right, in the book of Ezekiel, right, the third chapter. All right, real fast. All right, I'm gonna go to the class. Salaki. All right, it's the book of Ezekiel. Right, right, Ezekiel chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse. Salaki. Actually, I'm gonna start at verse number 12. All right, and it reads. It says, "Then the Spirit, right, took me." Actually, I'm gonna start at verse 7. It reads, "But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads." Man. Right. So also being your brother's keeper, right, also goes into having that strength and courage to, to correct them, to guide them, and to help them where they may be going wrong, or where they may be erring at, man. Right, because you may see something, right, especially if you're watching over them, you may see a stumbling block or something that they may not see. Right, jumping down to verse 17, it reads, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me, man." Right, so also Ben, your brother's keeper, right, goes into giving warnings, right, correction, man, right, because you don't want to have a bunch of just yes men, right. Everything that you say or moving is just and right. Right, you see many of our kings that fell on the left hand side by taking counsel, right, from their own belly, right, and which led to, by their own, as the brother brought out, your own selfishness. It can overthrow and destroy an entire nation, right, families and households, right. So brothers and sisters, we all had to be watchmen, for our people now, right, and give that direction and guidance, right, where it may be need be. Right, you got it.
And it is so important because, again, everybody's going to be judged according to their works, right? Let me get that real quick. And let's go to Matthew chapter 25, right? When Yahweh Shah returns, he's not going to return and ask you to break down the 70 weeks. And if you could break down the 62 weeks and the 434 years and then the 483 years, and you break it down, and then the Most High is not going to look at that through his son Yahweh Shah and say, all right, you broke that down. Here, You can rule over 10 cities. That's not in the scriptures. The Most High is not going to come down and ask you to go into the every parable and miracle of Yahweh Shai, break it down in the threefold level. And if you break it down in the threefold level, you can inherit the everlasting life and you get a crown on your head. When you read these accounts in 2nd Ezra, the 2nd chapter, you read Revelation chapter 2, 26 on down. You read Revelation 22 and 14 on down. These various accounts, the reward of everlasting life in the kingdom is predicated on your obedience to the law. And you're obeying the law because you believe in Yahweh Basham Yahushua, right? So it's very important knowing that the law requires from the beginning, right? Let me actually get that first. From the very beginning, that was the commandment that was given. When the Lord breathed into Adam the breath of life and gave him a living soul, that was the wisdom and the inspiration of Yahweh Basham Yahushua, right? Which means what? The laws and the statutes and the commandments. Adam, again, like we brought out earlier, he taught that to his sons. He taught it to Cain and he taught it to Abel. He broke down how we're supposed to deal with one another, right? This is so it's extremely important, right? It goes back to the very beginning. 1 John 3 and 10. And it says a lot about you, man. And this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of the Most High, neither he that loveth not his brother. Right? What is righteousness? Righteousness, pursuant to Philippians 3 and 9, is your faith in Yahweh Shai. You show your righteousness by keeping the law, right? You show that you believe by your works, right? We all know James 2:14 through 26, right? But it also reads, neither he that loveth not his brother. It want to show the different ways how to love your brother. Loving your brother is not what you experience in the world, right? And growing up in the world, I mean, loving your brother is getting your brother high, man. You know, a brother getting you high, saying anybody going to show you love, I'll show you love. And they give you a fat blunt. Or a brother get you a damn 3 bottles of damn the most expensive top shelf tequila, man. You know, or set you up with his homegirl. I mean, his girl's homegirl or something, man. 2 man, 3 man. This ain't the world, man. Right? Loving your brother's not putting them on. Loving your brother, we're going to cover it, right? Verse number 11. For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. So Cain had envy. The Lord said in Job, the 5th chapter, envy slayeth the silly one, right? So you can't be a brother full of envy and hatred. You can't hate your brother because he's in a different camp. You can't hate your brother because he's on a lower level. You can't hate your brother because you may perceive or think that this brother knows more than you, man. Or you can't hate this brother because he corrects you. Or you can't hate this brother because he has more wives or more children or has a greater income or less or more of anything in life. There's no excuse to hate or deride your brother, right? There's no justification in that. And the question is, the Most High put it out there. And wherefore slew he him? And why did he really kill him? Because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous, right? Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death unto life because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. And loving your brother goes into loving your brother that you have near you, or, you know, a brother that may be of your same nation in his knowledge, you know, but also Yahweh Shai is your brother. And the only reason that you pass from death into life is because you love Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the one that allowed you to pass from death into life. He quickened you. He's a quickening spirit, right? You came into this truth because you loved your brother, because you loved Yahweh Shai. You heard the word of the Most High. You heard about what the Most High sent Yahweh Shai on the earth for, man. You heard the precepts. You heard the word of the Lord. That is the sole reason that the truth bear witness with you, because you loved your brother, which is Yahweh Shai. That's what this means. We know that we have passed from death into life because we love the brother. You didn't come into this truth because you love me or you love Gabar. We didn't know you. You understand? And some brothers still may not know each other, man. But when you came into this knowledge because you love the brethren, and it started with you loving Yahweh Shai. That's why it says if you don't love your brother, you abide in death. Because your brother is in the image and likeness of Yahushua. That's what when you read Colossians, the 3rd chapter, it says, we are renewed after the image of him that made him. Right? Verse 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. You can't hate your brother. Yeah, I don't like those brothers. They wear those colors, man. Right? We're going to kill those brothers. I don't like those brothers because they teach that doctrine. I hate those niggas over there, man. I hate those brothers over there because those brothers out there, they bit in the truth a little bit longer. Those brothers have more views. Those brothers have a larger congregation, right? Those brothers, they have all of the wives. Those brothers, they have mighty beards. Those brothers, they're ancient men. Those brothers are young guys. They don't know what's going on. I hate those young guys, man. Right? Those brothers know more. There's no legitimate reason. And if you find that spirit of you hating your brother, you abide in judgment, man. That's when you read Matthew the 5th chapter, right? You hate your brother without cause, right? You call him a fool or empty head. There's a judgment coming for that, right? Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. So every brother needs to, let me get a ride back here. Every brother needs to check their spirit, man. Right? Every brother needs to check their spirit and ask
Shalom.
Shalom, King. Ask yourself, do you have hatred and envy in your heart, man, for your brother? And you could come off like you don't, man, or you could front, how they say it. You could front, you could put on a facade, you could mask yourself as if you don't. You could salute a brother, but you really in the back of your mind, you hate that brother. You really want that brother to fall out the truth. And you want that brother's position. And you might want his woman. You might want that brother rank. You might hope that brother, the spirit leave him. You're throwing up curses on that brother. If you have that spirit in you, you're not in the truth. And the Most High will give you a delusion to make you think you're in the truth just for you to get jabbed up in those days. That's why it's important to go into how to be your brother's keeper. Right? This truth is about being your brother's keeper. Right? But brothers got it.
Con. Let's go to the mighty book of 2 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 9. Right? And that's right, man. Right? And this truth, you have to love your brother, man. If you don't love your brother, you're not in this truth. Right? This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 9. Right? And it reads, it says, and Joab said to Amasa, art thou in health, my brother? And that's what brothers act like, man. They act like they're there for you. You know, how you doing? Is everything okay? Y'all, I'll pray for you, Ak. I'll pray for you. And they'll never pray for you, man. Not at all. Here you are battling the worst disease, and you ask your brother to sincerely pray for you. His brother says he is and will, but yet he doesn't. That's the spirit of a lot of brothers in this truth, man. It's not sincere. If you want to pray for your brother shouldn't have to ask you to pray for him, man. You should be able to evaluate and examine what brothers need, man. I should be able to see a brother limping, or see, maybe a brother, he has a cold, right? An infirmity. Maybe his household is a little, out of whack, or whatever the case may be. I should be able to examine by his spirit what he needs to help him, man. Shouldn't have to ask a brother to pray for you all the time. It says, and Joab said to Amasa, art thou in health, my brother? And Joab took, right, Amasa by the beard with the right hand and kissed him. So they'll show you much love, man. Like it says in the book of Ezekiel, man, chapter 33, right? They coming to you as the people coming, right? They act like they're your friend. They act like they want to hear what you want to, speak upon, or whatever the case may be, right? They'll kiss you, meaning they'll show you love, right? They'll embrace you. It says, but Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in, right, Joab's hand. So he smote him therewith in the 5th rib, and shed out his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again, right? Meaning the way he struck him was so strong and so vital to destroy his organs that he didn't have to strike him again, man. When you're in war, you may battle with the sword, or you may hit your enemy, but you may not hit an artery, or you may not hit a wound that leaks out. Meaning this was examined that he was trying to kill him, man. Like in police, not even necessarily police, but just in the world, you have attempted murder, and then you just have manslaughter. I just wanted to kill him. You got a headshot, and then you got somebody hit you in the kneecap or the hip, right, or the foot. Right, this man solely knew what he was doing, that he didn't have to strike him again. You got to keep in mind these were men of war, so he knew exactly where to hit him at. So he hadn't to strike him again. It says, and he died. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, pursued after Sheba, the son of Bertrand. So you want to watch out for brothers like that, man. And when you go into having discernment and knowledge, every brother's not your brother. So you don't want to have a foolish mentality to believe, trust, and give everybody all things. You're inviting all brothers in your house, you wonder why you got robbed. Telling all brothers your business, you wonder why you're getting slandered. You're doing everything, but you're not doing it according to knowledge. So loving your brother also, right, in the spirit also is examining who is your brother. And the Lord said, who is my mother and my brethren? Them that keep the commandments of my father, paraphrasing greatly. So just because somebody has fringes on doesn't mean you trust everybody. So you want to examine who is your brother, right? On the deepest level, all Israel is your brother, but you want to be able to cipher betwixt who's your brother in his truth, right? Betwixt who's not. Brothers got it.
Gone, gone. Right. This is the book of First Peter, right? The second chapter, right? First Peter 2 and 17. It reads, "Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear the Most High, and honor the king." Right. So it's also a commandment to actually love the brotherhood, man. Right. And the brotherhood consists of many folk, man. And it's not always just feast days, man, or mirth and gladness, man. Right? As the brother said, huh? You got those in the body who may need prayer, right? Those who may need remedies and things to help with their ailments, right? You got brothers with bad backs, bad knees, man, right? Brothers who may deal with certain you know, um diseases and things that affect their bloodstream, whether it's sickle cell, or many things, man, that brothers have dealt with in the body, huh? Right, and some brothers they may deal with certain spirits, man, heavier than others, man. Right, whether it's a depression, man. Right, whether it's anxiety, right, whether it's things that's going down or going on mentally. Certain things that may be uttered and repeating in their mind over and just over again, man. You got to also be there, man, to help comfort, man, to help build them up. You may give the proper precepts, right, or you may have to um go to them, rescue them out of the dunghill, man. Right? It's manifold, right? So it says, love the brotherhood, fear the Most High, man. Right? The Lord said, so like the Lord never said to fear a man, right? Where's the account of, right? Well, you only got to deal with these men, right? But when you see your brother, man, who teach the same thing, man, right? For Israel to to come back to the Most High, right? To repent and to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? But if you're not in this camp, right, or whatever so-called commandment or decree from a man, right? You kind of just shun the commandments of the Most High and become a railer, man, right? An accuser, a slanderer, right? And evil brother, man, right? Which is and essentially, right? You turn your back and you're not really following what the Most High commanded, man, right? Because the Lord never said you only got to specifically deal with brothers, right? That's in so called your camp, and that's the end all be all, huh? Right? No, hey, you got sheep, that aren't part of the body, that may need to learn, man. Right? You got those on the highways and byways, right? That need healing, that need to be fed, man. Right? And also it says right to honor the king, huh? Right to honor our greatest brother, right, which is Yahweh himself, right, and also just account, right, honor our king, right. One more point. I'm gonna go to the book of Saint Mark, the sixth chapter, right, it's the book of Mark, chapter 6, and verse number 34. And Yahweh when he came out, saw much people, and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things, man. Right? Right. So the Lord, he also showed brotherly love, right, by loving the brotherhood through showing compassion, man. Right, by teaching, man, right, healing those that were sick, right, cleansing the lepers, man, right, and doing works, man, and miracles, right, from sun to sundown, man. Right. So also, right, having having compassion and truly, right, loving the brotherhood, not just by word but in deed and action, is showing a true ways to love your brother, love your people, and love your nation. Bro's got it.
Come. That's beautiful, man. And Yahweh Shai have what you call empathy, man. Right? That's a beautiful account because a lot of brothers aren't empathetic, man. Right? Yahweh Shai, I just want to touch on that point because when Yahweh Shai saw the people, like the brother said, he was moved with compassion. That's a beautiful, that's a beautiful spirit to have. That's a sincere spirit. A lot of people see much people and they look at what they can gain off of the people, man. How much money they can make, how they could when you use the people and make merchandise out of them. I could tell you in 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter, man. But it's a beautiful thing when you have a sincere spirit and you see the people and you want to nurture and deal with the people. You want to have empathy. Brother going through something, you should feel that same spirit of what that brother's going through. Take that in Nehemiah the 5th chapter, that hit our flesh is the flesh of our brothers. And I want to get this real quick in Nehemiah. Right, let's go to Nehemiah the 1st chapter. Right, this is Nehemiah chapter 1 and verse number. I'm gonna read 1. Right, Nehemiah 1:1. The words, and they put a beautiful subtitle: Nehemiah's grief for the exiles. Right, his grief not for himself but for the exiles. The words of Nehemiah the son of Hakaliah, and it came to pass in the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace. So Nehemiah, remember, he was the cupbearer, right? And the cupbearer, when you go into the history of the cupbearer, it was the most trusted top position in the king's court. A lot of times when men wanted to poison the king, the cupbearer, he was the go-to guy to make sure the king's life was in his was safe. He would test the drink to make sure that nobody poisoned the king. He would test the food, eat the food to make sure nobody damaged the king. He would hold on to the king's secrets. He was like an advisor. So he was a right-hand man. He wasn't a nobody. He was a big deal. And Shushan, he was in the palace, right? Verse number 2. Then Hanani, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. So it was on his mind to ask about the estate of people and his brothers outside of himself. How my brothers doing? I wonder how these brothers doing over here, man. I wonder how the Jews doing. Yeah, I'm in the palace. I'm the cupbearer. I sleep in the bed, man. I have good food that I eat. I wear the king's, clothes, man. But how are my people doing that have escaped and that went back to Jerusalem to build the temple, right? And his mind was concerning Jerusalem. And they said unto me, Nehemiah 1:3, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burnt with fire. So we got bad news, man. They're in great affliction. The wall is broken down, and the gates are burnt with fire. Verse 4. And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, and mourned certain days, and fasted, and prayed before the God of heaven. And that's part of being your brother's keeper, man. Like the brother's going into comforting your brother, checking on your brother. Checking on your brother is being your brother's keeper. He asked how they were doing, man. It was a sincere asking, because a lot of times a brother will ask you how you doing, and the brother may say, man, I just had the worst week of my life. And the brother said, Con, King. Then he go salute the other brother. And the brother sit down with his damn head down, man. With his hand out, waiting for comfort in the precept. Ask the brother, how you doing, man? I ain't doing too good. Con, King. All right, that's all praise to the Most High. Con, Shalom. Right? Glad to see you. You ain't even hear what the brother had to say, man. You wasn't there to comfort the brother. You didn't check on the brother. And when Nehemiah heard that, it hit him, man. Like he went through it and he sat down and wept. That's called empathy. And he mourned and he fasted. Right? Here's the point of verse 5. And I said, I beseech thee, O Lord God of heaven, the great and terrible God that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. And you can read the rest of this account. He immediately went into prayer for those that were the exiles of the captivity, who were in great affliction, whose walls were burnt down, walls broken down, gates burnt up. He asked on them, he checked on them, and he comforted them, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's the spirit you want to have. I want to get one more real quick at First Maccabees, right? That reminded me of this quick account, right? First Maccabees chapter 12 and verse number, I'll read 8. I'll get straight to the point. I'll read 10. First Maccabees 12 and 10. Have nevertheless attempted to send unto you for the renewing of brotherhood and friendship, lest we should become strangers unto you altogether, for there is a long time past since you sent unto us. We therefore at all times, without ceasing, both in our feast and other convenient days, do remember you in the sacrifices which we offer, and in our prayers, as reason is, and as it becometh us to think upon our brethren. So in feast days, it wasn't just getting drunk and dancing, man. They was thinking about their brothers, and they had to renew the brotherhood and friendship, man. So that's checking on your brothers, whether they're amongst you or rather they live far apart, and you want to renew that brotherhood, man. Sometimes the brothers become distant. They don't talk as much as they should talk. Sometimes brothers become distant because brothers may move far apart, or whatever the case may be. You want to do your best to renew that friendship and renew that brotherhood. Hey, go out with a brother, man. Hey, brother, how you doing? Let's go get a beer. If you drink, or if you and the brother, you want to, you go to the gym, or y'all go over precepts or whatever, man. There's nothing wrong with renewing the brotherhood. You don't want to be strangers, right? And you fall away, and a brother, he's less inclined to reach out to you because you're nothing. I'm not going to say you're nothing to him, but you're not as close anymore. You want to always make yourself available and close to brothers, right? And have that love of the congregation. The brothers got it.
Come. Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 5. Right, 2 Maccabees chapter 5 in verse number 6.
Come.
Right, and it reads, it says, but Jason slew his own citizens without mercy, not considering that to get the day of them of his own nation would be most unhappy day for him, but thinking they have been his enemies and not his countrymen whom he conquered, man. Right? So you have these wicked men like Menelaus, right? Like Jason. You have many wicked men in the scriptures, you understand, that hated their own countrymen. And you see what happened to those men. Those men got utterly destroyed. Those men got killed. The Lord destroyed those men because they weren't sincere. Right? You don't want to hate your own citizens and your own countrymen. Right? Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 9 in verse number 54. Right? 1 Maccabees chapter 9 in verse number 54. Right? And it reads, it says, moreover, in the 153rd year, in the second month, right, alchemists commanded that the walls of the inner court of the sanctuary should be pulled down. So you got people that pull down your own people, man. They destroy you. They manipulate you. They talk bad about you. They slander you. They make videos about you. These same men are back on the earth. They're pulling down the walls of things that brothers are building. It says of the inner court of the sanctuary should be pulled down. He pulled down also the work of the prophets. And you could pull down a brother's works, man, right? By many ways. By not having his back, by not encouraging him, right? By getting on them, right? You could pull down the work of brothers and the things that they're trying to do by not being supportive, right? You don't want to pull down the work of the Lord. It says, and as he began to pull down, even at that time, was alchemist plagued in his enterprise. So all you brothers that don't show brotherly love, that are contrary to the body, contrary to Israel, contrary to the prophets, there's only one end goal for you: destruction. It says, and as he began to pull down, even at that time, was alchemist plague, and his enterprise hindered. Right? Meaning all your works to destroy other brothers and hate other brothers are going to be hindered. For his mouth was stopped, and he was taken with a palsy, man. See, your mouth gonna be stopped because you don't know who you're speaking against. Here you are speaking against this brother, and here he is sincere, doing the work of the Most High. You're becoming an adversary not only to him, but to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, so that he could no more speak anything, nor give order concerning his house. So Alchemist died at that time with great torment. And a lot of brothers are going to get sifted out and die in a great destruction because you came against the work of God, man. You don't want to come against the church, right? I mean, there's no reason, right, to hate your brother, make videos and destroy him and get on him to the point, right, where you burn the bridge of a brotherhood. And not only are you getting on him, right, and destroying him, but you're coming against the Most High. But you got it.
Khan.
Con,
Shalom, Amos and Yaradan.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Real fast. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah, right? Nehemiah chapter 11, right in the first verse. All right, we're gonna start there. First, the book of Nehemiah chapter 11 and verse number 1. And the rulers of the people dwelt at Jerusalem, right? The rest of the people cast lots to bring one of 10 to dwell in Jerusalem, the holy city, and 9 parts to dwell in other cities, right? And again, as brothers just touched on in the first chapter, right? This is going into after coming out of exile, captivity, right? Our land is burnt down, our gates are destroyed, man, right? After the besieges of Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians, man, right? As you read about in the book of First Ezra, right, the first chapter, right, verse 50 on down, man, right? You can read about the accounts, right, of how they came and took until it was nothing left, right? Until it was nothing but the poor, right, that was left in the cities, man. Right. So no one wanted to dwell in Jerusalem during this time, right? That they had to physically, right, cast lots and bring men by constraints, right, to the holy city. Right, verse 2. And the people blessed all the men that willingly offered themselves to dwell at Jerusalem, man. Right? And that's also, right, powerful into being your brother's keeper, man. Right? Because brothers shouldn't have to always, ask you to ask and beg and plead, man, for a brother to, do something for him, man. A brother may need some medicine, man, right? A brother may need, help, got a flat tire, car battery went out, man. Right? A brother may be stuck somewhere 30, 45 minutes out the way in the cold, right, where nowhere to go, but you're the only person that they can reach or get in contact with, man. Right? You should always be in the spirit, man, to willingly offer yourself to help, right? To willingly be there. It shouldn't be that someone has to force you to do something, man, right? To bring you by bitter constraint, right? To help your brother, right? Another precept on that. Get that St. John, right? St. John chapter 13 and what? Right, St. John chapter 13 and verse number 16. Right, read, right, verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If you know these things, happy are ye if ye do them, man. Right? And Yahushua, man, right? He was perfect. He was blameless, man. Right? But he still came down, right, humbled himself, right, and still willingly, right, offered, right, to cleanse the disciples, man. Right, which going back to the law, not to get too deep, but to wash their feet, to make sure that their walk with was consecrated in its truth, right, and to wash their hands to make sure that their works will be pure, right, and clean in the sight and eyes of the Most High, huh? Right. That the Lord also he made himself a servant, man, at all times, man. Right, right. Rather it was going from city to city, as the Lord said in Luke the fourth chapter, right, verse 43 on down, man, to preach the gospels, man, right, and other cities thereof, man, right. Rather it was giving the discernments, right, on the mounts, right, to the disciples and the multitudes, man. Okay, or rather it was slugging, or rather it was right stand up, man, right, or feeding those, man, right, slugging with 5 loaves and 2 fish, man, right, to feed the multitude. The Lord was always making himself a servant, right, and making his body a living sacrifice, right, which is going into, a furthering loving your brother, man, right, through, again, right, going through your actions, right, and as the Lord said, right, in First Samuel, right, that the second chapter and the third verse, man, right, that the Most High is a God of knowledge, and by Him actions are weighed, man, right, right. So bringing forth, right, the compassion to put yourself in the position of a servant, man, right? That's showing brotherly love, man. Right? There's plenty of times, brothers may be on, for all brothers that's on this call, brothers may have got calls at, 12 at midnight, man. Right, 1 o'clock, right, middle of the night, and someone may have need a counsel, right? That there may have been an emergency or something that's going on, right? You can't just say, well, you know what, I'm gonna just just say forget it, man. Right? You gotta make it yourself, as a servant, and put yourself in that position, man, right, to make sure that your brother's needs are put before your own. Right there, brother's got it.
Con.
God, God, Shalom, Kings. To let me back on what Gabar was saying, being a servant, to your brother is also doing things in charity. Right? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 16, verse number 14. Right? A good way to be your brother's keeper is doing things in charity to show that this is how you love Yahweh Shem Shah, by loving your brother. Right? Charity isn't just physical things or monetary. Right? It's giving people breakdowns, giving your brothers lessons, right? Teaching them how to be a brother, right? Having your household be an example of how to conduct your household, right? That's an important way to show that you're your brother's keeper, right? A lot of people think, because this person has the mightiest breakdowns, X, Y, and Z, that this is how I should go. But behind closed doors, the actions aren't showed the same way when it comes to applying the precepts, right? So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verse number 14. It says, let all things be done with charity, right? Verse number 15. I beseech you, brethren, the house of Stephanus, that is the first fruits of Achaia, and they have addicted themselves to the ministry of the saints, right? So being your brother's keeper is addicting yourself to the ministry, right? Following in the steps of our righteous forefathers who laid down their lives for the law, for their brothers and their wives and their children. Being addicted to the ministry is denying the flesh and teaching other people who are following and looking at you as an example to do the same thing. Right, verse number 16. That ye submit unto such and to every one that helpeth with us and laboreth. So that word submit in the Greek, I just had it pulled up, Salakia.
I'll pull it up too.
God, the water. Right, I might butcher it a little bit, but it's hyapataso. Right, and it says to yield one's admonition or advice. right? So to be in subjection to somebody is to listen to the advice, right? It says, go to the steps of a wise man, loosely paraphrasing, or always be at the doorsteps of it, or I'm butchering it up, but
Right.
being at the doorsteps of a wise man, right? Because that's the only way you're going to learn to overcome these demons that are bothering you, overcome these demons that are plaguing you and holding you back from being the man or the woman of the Lord that you're supposed to be, right? For they have refreshed my. Oh, I jumped. I am glad of the coming of Stephanus and Fortunus and Achaeus, for they which was lacking on your part, they have supplied. Right. So the things that are lacking in the body, it's your job to be the one to suffice or add to, so it's no longer lacking. Right. If I know Yardon's not good at speaking, it's my job to be his voice piece and help convey what he may be saying. Not saying that the brother's not good at speaking, but there's such things that are lacking. You're supposed to pick it up. Right. That's why you have 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, the administrations in the church. How one scratches another's back, which makes to the glory of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So being that brother who does things in charity and builds together, we all are pretty much of around the same age. It was a show back in the day called Voltron, right? So you had one wing that connected to an arm, another one connected to the arm, then you had the legs, right? And it was a damn beast. Right, and it was beating all the monsters or whatever was coming against it. That's how we got to be in this truth, in charity, right? Or the brother pulling it up, right? Voltron back in the day, right? They all managed one certain part of that, I guess, robot, that gigantic robot, and they were just going around just destroying everything, right? And that's how it's supposed to be in the truth, right? One person is the arm, one person is the leg for the beautiful assembling of the church that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua should be glorified, right, in our works. But you got it, Kings.
Con. Can I let me back up there real quick? Can brothers hear me?
God.
Con. That's a beautiful point. Can I get the book of Sirach, chapter 14, verse 5? Brother mentioned Voltron, and that's 80 pieces to a big body. The leg can't be poisonous and also profitable to the body. It doesn't work like that. So, if you call yourself or desire to be a good brother, it's like you got to examine yourself as well. It reads, He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. So if you evil to yourself, denying yourself from things that are holy, such as reading, fasting, prayer, how can you count yourself to be a good brother into somebody else? I want to get another verse in Philemon, chapter 1, verse 5. In addition to that, while I'm on that topic, if you're part of the body, diseases spread. Like I mentioned with the leg, diseases, cancers, they spread. So if you're amongst the body, while you have 1 million spirits on you, those spirits working as parasites are eventually going to jump into the next body part, jump onto the next body part, and now you're killing your brother. Whether you meant it or not, now you're a murderer. Now you're watching your brothers fall the same way you fell. It reads in Philemon, and I believe Philemon is Greek for he who shows compassion, or he is affectionate, right? Loving, right? Filio. So this is a letter that Paul wrote to Philemon, right? Concerning Onesimus. And this entire letter is about brotherly love.
Right.
Hearing of thy love and faith, which thou hast toward the Lord Yahushua and toward all saints. This is Paul writing to Philemon. This was the spirit that he was moving in. He heard of the love and the faith which he has shown toward the Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and all the saints, which are Israelites, that the communication of thy faith may be effectually by the acknowledging of every good thing. I believe that's what it says, kind of cut off. Say thing.
Yes, it's like you.
Thing which is in you, which is in you in Hamashiach Yahushai. So even that spirit of love and faith, Paul heard it, and best believe word traveled fast. And that spirit kind of just continually, produced in the body. For we have great joy and consolation in thy love, because the bowels of the saints are refreshed by thee, brother. So he refreshed the spirit and a body with his works by his fruits of the spirit. So you can either kill the body and be a cancer, or you can refresh the body. But of course, naturally, it's going to start with you and knowing how, knowing how to behave yourself and conduct yourself, wisely in the eyes of God. So one more thing I wanted to add, but if it comes back to me, then I get it.
Yeah, while you looking for that, King, I want to get this real quick, because brothers are making a lot of good points, and I want to get a quick precept also about being your brother's keeper, along with the compassion and showing love. Is I believe a brother touched on as well. Sometimes you got to get on a brother, man. That's also love it, because if you don't get on a brother or rebuke a brother and correct a brother's not going to. The Lord said the ways of man are pure in his own eyes. Well, every way of man is pure in his own eyes. And the Lord said, there is a way that seemeth right unto a man in Proverbs, the 14th chapter, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And you don't want to be a brother who sees a brother walking towards the way of death. You don't say anything, man. Real quick, before I get that, let me get this in Proverbs 24. Before I get that, this is Proverbs chapter 24 and verse number, that's what I want, 21 and 24 and 11. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou sayest, behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? So the Lord is your keeper. Read Psalms chapter 121. The Lord is thy keeper and thy shade, man. Yahweh Shai, he's the ultimate keeper of the children of Israel. And a way that the Most High keeps us as being that shade and being that protector is you have to exercise that for your brother. If you see your brother that's drawn into death, he's dealing with demons, he's going to hell off, he's dealing with spirits. The brother may be proud, or the brother may be dealing with drugs, whatever the case may be. Whatever it may be, the brother's drawn into the destroyers. Like I tell you in Job, the 33rd chapter, right? He's ready to be slain. There are death angels in line. And you see those angels ready to cut them down. You see that angel in Numbers, the 22nd chapter. If you don't exercise yourself in the spirit of Baalam's ass and try to crush your brother's foot, man, with a hard rebuke, so he could stop what he's doing, then you're going to be judged for that, man. Right? And I'm alluding to, when you read Numbers 22, and you read that account with Baalam and his ass. Even the ass had enough discernment to see the angel in the way and prevent his master, who treated him wrongly, from being killed. He was ready to be slain. And if you don't say anything, if an ass has enough discernment to protect his master, a brother should be on that level times 1,000 protecting their fellow brother. Right? How much greater are we than an ass, man? Right? And the Lord knows how many situations where you seen your brother in need, where you said you was going to pray for your brother, when you could have checked on your brother, when you could have did X, Y, and Z, and you ignored that. The Most High sees that. Right? So you want to have that spirit of correcting your brother as well, man. Don't watch your brother go off the deep end and not say anything, man. Right? Let's go to I want to get that real quick. I know brothers got a lot of precepts. 2 Samuel, the 19th chapter. Right? How many times did Joab get on David, man? Right? Concerning Absalom. When David told Joab to number Israel, Joab was like, well, what are you doing, man? What is this about? But it tells you, nevertheless, the words of David prevailed against Joab. But even Joab had enough courage to speak up and even, talk to David about certain things that David may have been doing that wasn't right, man. Now, this is 2 Samuel. I want chapter 19 and it's like, is this what I want? Yeah, 2 Samuel chapter 19 and 1. And it was told Joab, behold, the king weepeth and mourneth for Absalom. And the victory that day was turned into mourning unto all the people, for the people heard say that day how the king was grieved for his son. And David wrongfully grieved. I don't want to use the word wrongfully, but it was inappropriate at this time to grieve for Absalom because of the life of David's men that were put on the line to save David, right? It reads, and the people gat them by stealth that day into the city, as people being ashamed still away when they flee in battle. So it put a spirit on the people. But the king covered his face, and the king cried with a loud voice, "O my son, Absalom, O Absalom, my son, my son." Now here's the point. And Joab came into the house to the king and said, "Thou hast shamed this day the faces of all thy servants, which this day have saved thy life, and the lives of thy sons and of thy daughters, and the lives of thy wives and the lives of thy concubines, and that thou lovest thine enemies and hatest thy friends. For thou hast declared this day that thou regardest neither princes nor servants. For this day I perceive that if Absalom had lived and all we had died this day, then it had pleased thee well. Now therefore arise, go forth and speak comfortably unto thy servants. For I swear by Yahweh, if thou go not forth, there will not tarry one with thee this night. And that will be worse unto thee than all the evil that befell thee from thy youth until now." And you need a brother like that to put your mind back in the right perspective, man. What the hell are you doing, man? A lot of brothers don't see the consequences of their actions, right? And they're justified in their emotions, man. And you need a brother to put you back in check, right? To bring you back down to earth, to let you understand the ramifications of your actions and get on you, man. And David, although he was the king, Joab did, he reverenced, he did this out of respect and love, but he saved David's life and he saved the kingdom, huh? David's whole army would have left. You weeping for the man we just killed? I put my life on the line to hear this. I don't want to hear that, So you want to have brothers around you to put you back and give you a reality check, how they say, man, and cut you and bring you back on the right path. The brothers got it.
Come. Let me get in there through the spirit. Let's go to the mighty book of Luke, chapter 22 and verse 24. And that's a good point. You most definitely want to get on your brother, man. Right? That's love. Right? We look at, a lot of brothers, where their mothers and their fathers were in their lives, they got chastised because their parents loved them, man. And if we truly love our brethren, we got to correct them righteously and help them, man, and stir them into the way of righteousness. But this is the book of Luke chapter 22 and 24. And there were also strife among them, right? Which of them should be accounted the greatest? Right, talking about the 12. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. Right, yeah, your heathen of the land, they're the ones that exercise that lordship over one another, right? We not a people to where we're exercising that lordship, right? We're not cruel to our brethren. We're not beating up, our people and ruling over them rigorously. It says, but ye shall not be so. But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger. And the younger, always getting the short end of the stick, man. Right? The younger's always pushed to the back. He's always last. It says, and he is chief as he that doeth serve. And another part of being your brother's keeper is being able to serve your brother, man. Serving your brother doesn't talk about your Jeffrey off of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man. Serving your brother is when he needs help, you're the first one to be there for him, man. Your brother may be in the hospital. Guess what? You pulling up. Your brother may need medication or whatever the case may be, right? He may be ill. The brother may need precepts. You have to be able to serve your brother at a drop of a dime with whatever he needs, man. And your brother may need a lot of things. He may need a counsel. I believe Gabar brought out earlier, a brother may call you, 12 o'clock at night, man. 1 o'clock in the morning. A brother called me not too long ago. It was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, man. It was an emergency. So brothers catch hell all the time, and they need a willing ear to talk to, man. They need a brother that's going to give sound advice, counsel, and hope, right? Being your brother's keeper is deeper, right, than just reading for him on the line, right, or telling him that he was on fire at camp or he taught mightily. It says, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that doeth serve. For whether is greater, he that sitteth at meat or he that serveth. It says, is not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth. So the Lord gave the ultimate, blueprint of how to be your brother's keeper, how to be righteous, and how to love your brother is to serve and help your nation, man. You look at a lot of our forefathers and foremothers, they were servants, man. They were servants. Moses, he served the people, man. Right? He was getting weary and waxing away. Did I begot these people? Paraphrasing greatly. And that's what Moses said, man. He was helping so many people. So many people was coming up to him day in, day night. He was doing the work of the Most High. He didn't cease. A lot of our fathers, they didn't cease with the work and the will of the Most High by serving their people and their nation. Nehemiah, he served the people. Went by the gates by night. It was on his mind to get the nation in order. These are the things that you have to willingly want to serve to help your brother. Right? I'm going to get one more through the spirit. In 2nd Maccabees chapter 15 in verse number 12. 2nd Maccabees chapter 15 and verse number 12. Right? And it reads, it says, and this was his vision, that Onias, who had been high priest, a virtuous and good man, right? Reverence in conversation, gentle in condition, well spoken, also an exercise from a child in all points of virtue, holding up his hands, prayed for the whole body of the Jews. And that's what you have to do. That has to be on your heart, man. When you look at Ezra's, right? And I'm going to get one more after this. Ezra's, he prayed and he loved his people, man. That's a beautiful spirit to have. You can know a million precepts, or you can love your brother, man. If you love your brother, there's nothing you wouldn't do for him. You're driving in the middle of the night. You're staying on the phone an extra hour. These are the things that you can't buy or imitate. See, you could duplicate a lot of things in this truth, but you can't duplicate sincerity. And one thing that these men had, which was the elect, is they were sincere. I don't want to get Salakia. Let me read that last point again. It says, holding up his hands, prayed for the whole body of the Jews. You have to pray for your brethren, the whole body of your nation. I'm gonna let brothers get in there. I get back in there.
Come. Right. I'm gonna jump in there with the book of Sirach, the 6th chapter. All right, Sirach, chapter 6, and I'm sorry at verse 1 and jump down. Right, it reads, instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue, man. Right, and to everything is a just balance, man. Right, you don't want to become an enemy, towards your brother. Rather, you may be there for a brother and so called in their face, man. But when brothers may need you behind closed doors, when brothers may need you behind the week, right? You're never there. You never respond, right? It takes damn 5 years, right? To hear back from you. You never check on them, right? There's a multitude of ways, man, right? Making yourself an enemy, man, right? Or every type of opportunity, that a brother may slip, right? Or maybe slightly off, or err that, right? You kind of use that small inch, man, right, to go, above and beyond, right? You want to use every opportunity to put them down, man. Right? That's going to give you a bad name, man. Right? That's the brother that only wants to, damn, just make you feel like they're nothing, man. Right? But the brother's never there to help comfort you, man. Right? You're never there in your time of need. Whenever someone needs help, whether it's moving or, someone may need help. They may need help. They may need to get certain things, for their house, man. right? And they may need the help of a brother in need, man, right? Or someone to help them, kind of fix something, man, right? They kind of stranded, right? May need a certain tool, etc., man, right? You're never there, right? Which segue to verse 14, right? A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure, right? Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is slacking, and his excellency is invaluable, man. Right. So you also want to be faithful, man. Right. That's also having characteristics of being your brother's keeper, man. Right. Because if you're not faithful, man, right, or you never there, right, or you just every time these brothers reach out, you put them on do not disturb, man. Right. You kind of just uh let them just pass by, man. Right. But you always, in appearance, got the strongest, hardest shalom, trying to break somebody's hand, man. Right. That can be implemented as fake, right? Making and could put brother at odds, put spirits on you, man. Right. Because you got certain men that say that um, you know, they'll they'll die for you, man. Right. Or they'll do this, right? Or they'll do that, man. Right. But something as small as hey, brother, can you pick me up for, give me a ride to camp? Can you, do something, small for me that isn't extremely burdensome, man, right? They're nowhere to be found, right? They can't do it. So how can you expect someone to be faithful in days to come, or when all hell breaks loose, man, or when it's really time for a time of need, right? If you can't even show those same actions, right, on a small level, right? I'm gonna get one more precept real fast, right in the book of Acts. All right, Salaki. Right, come. Right, come. Right, it's the book of Acts, right, chapter 24. And I'm gonna start at verse, right, Salaki. Right, the book of Acts, Salaki, chapter 26 and verse number 6. It reads, "And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promises made of our father, of the Most High unto our fathers, unto which promises our 12 tribes, instantly serving the Most High day and night, hope to come, for which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews, man." Right. So, Paul, he was a faithful man, right, to his nation. He endured Slucky, beatings, man, right? Being stripes, many stripes, above measures, stone, shipwreck, man, right? Many afflictions, great infirmities, man, but still, faithfully, right, and instantly served the Most High, right, day and night, instantly serving the brotherhood, man, right, going from church to church, man, right, whether it was Thessalonica, man, right, Spain, right, and to and fro, man. Okay, right through Schlucky, right through Paul doing the work and actually showing forth right through right his actions and commitment, right, of being faithful, man. Right, combo with that, brother got it.
Gone. And that's very, very true. I'm gonna land me back on the precept that Araya brought out. And let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 12, and we're gonna start at verse 19. Right? So prayer for the body is important when it comes to the weak nature of the flesh, right? Because every man is mighty in his own eyes. Every man's works are righteous in his own eyes as well. But that praying for the body restores the spirit which groaneth unto the Most High, right? Because it isn't us putting it in our spirit to pray for, brother. It's the Most High, because He sees the works that you're doing in your sincerity. Going back to what Gabar was saying, right? A brother who's sincere, he's gonna pray for his brothers who go out and labor. He's gonna pray that they make it home when they come back from work, that their household is free from sickness and spirits being in there. That's the true definition of being your brother's keeper and being sincere in his truth, and as well as comforting words, right? So we go, Shalaki, start with the comforting words first. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 12, and I'm gonna start at 18, right? So this is Israel. They was wanting to be as the nations, right? They wanted to have a king placed over top of them when Yahweh Shem Yahushua was there with them the whole time, guiding them, protecting them, healing the blind, healing the sick and the lame, right? And so Samuel had to reprove him, right? Verse number 18. It says, so Samuel called unto the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said unto Samuel, pray for thy servants unto the Lord thy God, that we die not, for we have added unto our sins this evil to ask us a king. Right? So the people were so afraid, and they saw how mighty Samuel was and how the Lord was on their side. They got scared into, it's a fearful thing, and the Lord had them to repent on the spot. Right? Asking Samuel, praying to the Lord that he doesn't kill us this day. Right? And Samuel said unto the people, fear not. You have done all wickedness, all this wickedness, yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your hearts. So that's what a good brother is going to do. He's going to comfort you in your time of anxiety, in your time of doubt, in your time of fear, right? It's like a child when they scared to cross the stairs or cross the street or go up the stairs, that father puts out his hand, right? And all that anxiety and fear goes away. But when a brother is feeling anxiety or worried or doubt, that's when you put your hand out and help that brother get over that doubt, worry, and fear itself. Because that's what Samuel did. Right? Verse number 21. And turn ye not aside, for then should ye go after vain things, which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are vain. For the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because he has pleased the Lord to make you his people. This is the point right here. Moreover, as for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord and ceasing to pray for you. Right? It's a sin when you cease from praying for your brother. It's a sin when you cease from praying for Israel. Right? This is from Samuel. You know how mighty Samuel was in the word? Right? The scripture said, loosely paraphrasing, not even a word fell into the floor that Samuel said. Right? Samuel said that this house is going to collapse next to me and everybody in it is going to be smushed. It's going to happen. Right? He said, God forbid that he would sin and cease from praying for you, but I will teach you the good and right way. So what you do is you pray for the brothers and you pray for sisters and you teach them that good and right way by encouraging them, right? Leading by example. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider how great he has done for you. So like consider how great things he has done for you, right? So you can't just say I'm gonna pray for somebody. You got to have action with it. You got to have action. You got to encourage those people, right? Like the brother said, a brother called him on last week or something at 3 a.m. saying there was an emergency. Right? The brother ain't just say I'm gonna pray for you and hang up. He encouraged the brother. He stayed on the phone and showed him that the Lord was looking over him. And then he said, I'm gonna pray for you. Right? These are the things that we got to get accustomed to doing. At least by any means, we continue to sin and forget to pray for our brothers, or forget to pray for Israel, or let a grudge build up in our spirit, and we don't pray for, someone who we consider our enemy. Right? What you got, y'all?
Yeah, that's deep. That's a strong amount of love. That's why it says in Proverbs 6:6, you can get that Bab Kashar. The Lord told us to acknowledge beast and apply their characteristics to our life, because it's gonna help us out. Lord said, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Now the ant has a lot of jobs. It brings leaves in, it protects the queen, but also when it's going out on certain missions. I watched Nat Geo, these different animal shows, whatever, And I was watching something one day where it had the ants kind of form a chain link, and the other ants was crossing on top of those ants. So those ants prepared and made their body a living sacrifice for the other ants, for their brothers, mind you. And a group of ants is a colony, also an army. And you know, what is the men of the Lord but an army? And so even in the waters, I see ants all join together, and and they're floating, and they rotate. So one ant doesn't drown, it kind of gets on the top. The other ant kind of bears the burden and floats. The other ant kind of get on top, and so on and so forth. And so that's what I say all this to lay back off Amos. That's what it reminds me of being your brother's keeper, and always being there to support and help one another. That said, I want to also go to Sirach chapter 9, verse 10. Because you gain a brother through adversity. You know, those ants, they went through a lot of hell when I was watching that. They went through water, they deal with beasts, they deal with hornets sometimes. And when an insect or a beast tries to interfere with their colony, all the ants jump in. The ants don't kind of disagree and will say, well, hold on. They all attack that beast. Where are we at? So like 9 and 10. Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him. A new friend is as new wine. When it is old, thou shalt drink it with pleasure. That's true. And that's deep. And so even with that, if you have an old friend, a friend that you've known for years, you got to continue to preserve that friendship, because wine can easily turn into vinegar, which is bitter to the taste. But wine is sweet when it's old. So there's certain procedures that you even have to do to preserve that wine and make sure it's everlasting. Because, you know, friendships can always upgrade. The scriptures tell us that, you know, by disclosing of secrets, a treacherous wound, certain things can break up a friendship. You know, of course, you still love your brother regardless, but, you know, why not have those good attributes to a friendship? So, Khan, that's all I had to say.
Khan. And I want to stay in the Apocrypha, and I want to go back to Second Maccabees, right? I want to go back to Second Maccabees because I want to touch on the point in this chapter, right? In Second Maccabees, the 5th chapter, concerning, you know, being your brother's keeper, right? This is Second Maccabees chapter 15, and I'm gonna start at verse number 17, right? Second Maccabees chapter 15, Salakian 17. It reads, this is before what they call the Battle of Adasa, when Judas Maccabees defeated Nicanor, right? It reads, thus being well comforted by the words of Judas, which were very good and able to stir them up to valor, and to encourage the hearts of the young men, they determined not to pitch camp, but courageously to set upon them, and manfully to try the matter by conflict, because the city and the sanctuary and the temple were in danger. For the care that they took for their wives and their children and their brethren and kinsfolk was in least account with them, but the greatest and principal fear was for the holy temple. And one beautiful thing you read about Judas is, even though he didn't have the numbers at times that the heathen may have had, Georgius and Lysias, Apollonius, and Nicanor, he may have had the resources, he may not have had the advancements in war that they had, but one thing he had through the Spirit was the ability to encourage brothers, man, and to exhort brothers. That exhortation and that encouragement can make a brother feel like he's invincible, man. You know, it can make a brother feel like he's damn near immortal, man. Like he could run. There's certain accounts you read in Maccabees, how they felt like they could run through walls, man, and fight wild beasts, right? And do things that they never thought that they can do, man, right? So you definitely want to have that spirit to where he was. And these are warriors, man. These are men that kill people. You know, these are men that destroy lives, man. And these men, anybody can be discouraged, man. Everybody's not on fire 7 days out the week, no matter what they say or what they bring off. Every brother deals with weak moments in their life, or moments where they don't feel, as strong, and that phone call or that precept or that checking on that brother or that encouraging that brother, and that can go a long way, man. You never know what that means to a brother, man, and what he's dealing with mentally. A lot of brothers deal with a lot of stress, a lot of their balance in their life, the life of their family, jobs and money and, health and things of that nature. And that one precept or those two precepts could make a brother from feeling like, nothing to feeling like, that was, what was I even stressing about? It reads, let me finish that. It reads, they determined not to pitch camp. They said, we're not even going to set up camp, set the tents up and do things like that. It says, but courageously to set upon them and manfully to try the matter by conflict, because the city and the sanctuary and the temple were in danger. Right? Let me get one more real quick in Luke 22, right? The classic concerning our Lord Yahweh Shai, right? Luke chapter 22 and 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I prayed for thee that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. And Yahweh Shai, he was known for strengthening the brothers, encouraging them, exhorting them. And he saw the spirits that potentially could have hopped, or Satan that could have hopped on Peter, man, to sift him out the truth. He prayed for Peter that his faith didn't flatline or fail. And then he told him to strengthen his brother. That's the commandment, man. Right? When we're converted in this truth, we're obligated to strengthen the brethren. When you grow into a particular level and you hit a particular point in this truth, I don't want to use the word pinnacle, but you level up, for lack of better terms. You're obligated and you have that responsibility to strengthen your brethren. Don't study all these precepts just to strengthen yourself, right? You study it, yeah, that's important and you need it, but you also are looking for these precepts to strengthen your brother, right? Yahweh Shah, he healed many people, man. That was on his mind, healing the people. Gabar brought that out earlier. It was healing the people day in and day out, man. Night and day. We brought that out at camp. He was up hours and hours, 18 hours, 24 hours, all day strengthening the people and healing the people, man. Right? And that should be on your mind, as a brother. What can I do to further heal the people and strengthen the people? Right? But brothers got it.
Can I get in there? Let's go to the mighty book of John, right? Chapter 13 and verse 1. Right? And I'll probably start at verse 4. Right? It says, he riseth from supper and layeth aside his garments and took a towel and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet and to wipe them, right, with the towel wherewith he was girded, right? So, I mean, out of all the things that could have been written about Yahweh Shai, this most definitely was put here for our learning's sake. Now, we can't just look over the fact that Yahweh Shai, he washed the disciples' feet, man. That's one of the greatest, acts of humbling yourself that's written. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords is actually, washing men's feet. Now, if you ask a brother to do that, not necessarily physically wash your feet, but to do something that a lot of men wouldn't do, man. A lot of people can't even, take care of their grandparents. They'll just throw them in a nursing home, right? They may need help, right? They may need assistance using the bathroom. Maybe a lot of dirty jobs or a lot of things that people wouldn't want to do and or wouldn't do for their brother or their family. Hey, but the Lord humbled himself, man. He humbled himself to the point where a lot of men would look at this and say, I would never do something like this. I can't do nothing like that. And Jake's proud. Jake don't want to do nothing for his brother, man. He barely want to give him a ride. He don't even want to show him the precepts. Here you are wanting to break down, and Jake won't even show you the breakdown. He want to keep all of the in-depth breakdowns for himself. Just evil and covetous, man. And with the Lord, he gave all and everything that he had for his brethren, and he humbled himself and he washed his disciples' feet. It says, then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Yahushua answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest now, slack it not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yahushua answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my feet. Yahushua saith unto him, he that is washed needeth not to save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. Right? So, I mean, you got to take these accounts for what it is. And you have to mimic and watch and move after our Lord Yahushua in that humbling spirit. But I want to get this quick precept in Second Esdras, right? Second Esdras chapter 8 in verse 45, right? Second Esdras chapter 8 and verse 45. It says, be not wroth with us. So he's not just worrying about himself, he's worrying about the whole nation. It says, be not wroth with us, but spare thy people, and have mercy upon thine own inheritance. So Ezra, Nehemiah, Onias, a lot of brothers were bringing out, even Yahushua, he prayed for the 12, right? There are a lot of accounts of our forefathers and the elect praying not only for themselves, but for others. It says, be not wroth with us, but spare thy people, and have mercy upon thine own inheritance, for thou art merciful unto thy creature. Then answered he me, and said, things present are for the present, and things to come for such as be to come. For thou camest far short, that thou shouldest be able to love my creature more than I. And it's not the first time the Lord had to check him, right? The Lord had to check Ezra, the 5th chapter, verse 5 and verse 33 all the way down. Second Ezra, the 8th chapter, verse 45 all the way down. Because Ezra has so much love, right, for his people that the Lord had to show him, look, just because they're catching hell or I'm putting them through this doesn't mean I don't love them. Doesn't mean I'm not showing them mercy. Doesn't mean I won't show them mercy. See, you can't outlove or show more compassion than I over things you may not understand as far as my judgments. It says, verse 47, for thou comest far short, that thou shouldest be able to love my creature more than I, but I have oft times drawn nigh unto thee and unto it, but never to the unrighteous. In this thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. But I want to get one more in Second Esdras, the same chapter, 8 and 15. Right, the same chapter. Because this whole chapter he was showing love for Israel. Right? It says, now therefore, Lord, I speak touching man in general, thou knowest best, but touching thy people, for whose sake I am sorry. So Ezra said, look, for whose sake I'm sorry, and for mine inheritance, for whose cause I mourn. So Ezra said he was sorry, he mourns over the things that were going on and touching Israel. And for Israel, for whom I am heavy, and for Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled. Right? So he was troubled, he was heavy, he was catching hell, man, to the point where the Lord had to console his spirit and give him that understanding of the things that he was lacking. Right? When you read Second Esdras, you're not necessarily going to get it, but Second Esdras, the 3rd chapter, right? And he seen many wicked things that were going on, right, in the years where he was in Babylon, and he prayed for his people. Prayed for his people in the 5th chapter. He prayed for his people in the 8th chapter. He had that love for his people. And that's another part of brotherly love is if you love your brother and there's nothing you won't do for your brethren, man. Right? And 2, the more love you have for your brother, the more love you have for Yahweh Shah. You have to be willing to forgive your brother. Because it's a lot of grudges in Israel, man. It's a whole lot of grudges. You know, you stepped on my toes. You did this. You slandered me one time. You know, you talked about me. You left the camp, or whatever the case may be. You're no longer my brother, right? That has to cease out of Israel, man. If we're truly in this truth, it shouldn't be nothing that would stop or withdraw you from showing your brother love if he is repentant. Brothers, God.
God, that's a very effeminate trait for men to call themselves kings to have, right? Holding on to grudges because you feel a certain type of way. When our forefathers spoke things out, even if it was contentious, right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 5 and 41, right? That precept that we read in Second Esdras kind of had my mind running, and after that we can go to Galatians 6 and 2. But Matthew 5 and 41 reads, "And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain," right? So really being your brother's keeper is making sure your brother is not going over situations alone, right? Making sure you're there by his side if he needs you to be there by his side, or a sister needs you by her side, you're right there, right? She's like, I just need you to help me walk through this bushel of leaves, and you tell her, I'll go 3 bushels of leaves with you. You know, we have to bear each other's burden in these last days, right? Because that's the only way we can do it, right? Didn't Yahushua ask for help when he was in the garden praying? When the flesh was heavy on him and the thoughts were trying to manipulate him from not doing the Lord's will, right? And what were the apostles doing? They fell asleep. The disciples were asleep. We can't be sleeping disciples in these last days when it comes to walking with our brothers. We got to be on the outlook. We got to be looking forward, backwards, side to side to make sure that no harm can befall our brothers, right? Let's go to Galatians 6 and 2. Right, Galatians 6 and 2, it says, "Bear ye one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Mashiach." So bearing one another's burdens is fulfilling the law of the Lord, right? It's the account in Acts. Let's go to Acts, the 5th chapter. I want to say 37 or 36 verse, something like that, right? But when the apostles were getting beat, no apostle ran and went and hid behind the brooks and saw what happened. They stood together, right? During the midst of this uproar and council, when the whole city of Jerusalem was looking to kill them, they stood together as one and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. They stood boldly together. That's the sign of a brother, right? Goes back to what Yardon said. A brother is born in adversity. Are you truly your brother's keeper when all hell's breaking loose? Or are you going to hide behind a tree while your brother's being persecuted? Right, so this is Acts chapter 5. I'm gonna go to verse 36. Right, this is after Gamaliel was talking, right, and kind of subdued the minds of the people, right, kind of calmed everybody down. But they was already in prison putting hands on them, right? You ever been in a situation somebody put hands on you and you know what you want to do, but you outnumbered, right? So this whole counsel and scenario was crazy, right? So this is verse number 36. For these days rose up Thaddeus, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who were slain, and all as men obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. Right? So this is talking about the men who tried to make themselves something instead of following in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Because the apostles were commanded not to teach in the name, but they came in unison to make sure that they're going to continue to keep teaching the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshai together as one. Right? Verse 37. As this man rose up, Judas of Galilee, in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him, he also perished, and all, even as many obeyed him, were dispersed. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone, for if their counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of Yahweh, you cannot overthrow it, least happily you be found to fight against Salaki. Least happily you be found eager to fight against Yahweh. And to him, they agreed. And when they had called the apostles and beat them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahweh Shah and let them go. Right? And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. So it wasn't one of them that got beat. They got beat in unison. And they rejoiced in unison. That's how you your brother's keeper. You take ass whoopings together if need be, right? When this brother's winning, we're all winning. When this brother's mourning, we're all mourning, right? Whether it be 5 days, 7 days, we do it in unison. That's how you are your brother's keeper, right? And daily in the temple and in every house, they cease not to teach and preach Yahweh Shah Mashiach. So even after they got beat, they were still in unison to preach the words of Yahweh Shem Shah as one body, right? And that one body being Hamashiach, and the head being Hamashiach. Because if your eye is singular, you're going to do the things that please the Lord. And you're going to surround yourself with brothers who want to please the Lord, not with men of this world who can only think about sensual things. Right, but brothers got it.
God, when you please the Lord, let me back off what you just said. When you please the Lord, or really when you please your brother, you please the Lord first and foremost. May I have Matthew chapter 25, verse 40. So the Lord stated himself. That's why it's even in Sirach 33 and 17, loosely paraphrasing, if I learn anything, it's not for myself only, right? I labor not for myself only, but for all those who may gain understanding or desire understanding. It's Matthew 25 and 40. But the king answered, it's like the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. And sometimes I believe Israel, chronically speaking, we may forget that we're dealing with Yahushua. When you speak to your brother, you're talking to Yahushua in the spirit. Right? When you clothe your brother, you're clothing Yahushua. When you think about it, your brother, a certain brother, you're thinking about Yahushua. So you got to be very mindful and walk on eggshells on how you speak to brothers, how you perceive brothers, and everything of that nature, and that sort. Because even the apostles, they've of course they're elect and they're sealed, but you had Thomas, he doubted. Paul denied the name of the Lord, right? Now, one could have looked against the other a certain way, but it's no profit because the Lord's going to choose whom he chooses. So if you find a brother with a certain fault, you can't have an evil, perception of him. In addition to that, you just got to be mindful of how you speak to your brothers, how you think about your brothers, what you pray for when you pray for a brother. Don't pray for a brother to go through a whole lot of hell just because you're going through it. That's not sincere. I lost my job. Not, Lord, make him lose it too so he can feel the fire. I want him to be on fire. I want him to feel that chastisement like me. Lord, take it all from him. Take it all. It's madness. So I want to get one more in Luke chapter 7, verse 45. Yeah, take it all. But it reads, you know what? Yeah. For the sake of time, it reads, thou gavest me no kiss. You know what? I'm going to start verse 44. And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, this is Yahushua speaking, and said unto Simon, seest thou this woman? I entered into thine house. Thou gavest me no water for my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss, but this woman, since the time I came in, hath not ceased to kiss my feet. Mine head with oil didst not anoint, but this woman anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she hath loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth a little. And he said unto her, thy sins are forgiven. So the amount of love that you have for Yahushua, ultimately for your brother, that love is going to be presented before the Most High God. And he's going to forgive you accordingly, according to how much you loved your brothers. Now, Yahushua also listed different forms of how love can be expressed. You know, now of course love is keeping the commandments. And if you know what adultery is and you eventually you see your brother slipping into the steps of adultery, you correct him. That's judgment. You judge him according to the law, right? That's a form of love. But Yahweh also stated that she gave me water. And he also mentioned that in another chapter as well. You know, give your brother some water. And not only that, he said that he's speaking to Simon. He said, "You have gave me no kiss." That was a tradition performed in the ancient world, giving a holy kiss.
Right.
You ask the brother, "Can I give you a holy kiss now?" No, no, brother. They do this. Kind of put this. You kind of say, "Hold on, hold on." Kind of just do this. Now, you know, every brother's at different levels. You know, but some brothers their knees buckle. You know, whatever the case is, everybody's at different levels. But you know, that's too much for Jake. But Yahushua said that to Simon. He said, "You have given me no kiss." This is Yahushua speaking. And then brothers, like, I don't know. I've seen brothers give a holy kiss in righteousness, right? In righteousness. And I'm gonna specify, you know, typically perhaps on the forehead or cheek, right? Perhaps on a forehead or cheek, you know, you gotta specify. It's Jake, man, your mind. Anyway, Yahushua also stated to the woman or to Simon that you know, she washed his feet and anointed his head with oil. You know, I heard a brother say, "Would you wash my feet?" He said, "Yes, absolutely." You know, brothers was marveling. That was Yapa actually. He was sincere. You know, but brothers get the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, man, Jake was more, you know, or Israel rather in the ancient world was more less inclined to be the way they are now when it comes to brotherly love and I don't want to use the word intimacy, but more so, like you said, brotherly kisses and affection. I'll use the word affection. John laid in Yahushua's bosom, you know. So the love that brothers had, they wept together. You had men that ripped their garments together, man. You know, the affection and the willingness to show affection was I mean incomparable to the time now, man. Everything Jake do, a brother give you brothers in the camp, they'll salute each other and give each other a hug, man. Right? And brother, you got brother. Now I don't do hugs, man. That's gay. Pause. Hey man, give a brother a hug, man. You know, and these things it was a brother laying in the brother bosom at the Feast of Tabernacles, man. I mean, what was this? Feast of Unleavened Bread last year in Detroit, man. I don't know if brothers remember that. Brothers was there. You know, brothers show love, man. Brothers have compassion. This isn't, we're not in the world, man. You know, a brother call you, "Hey, Ak, I was thinking about you." Don't say, "That's gay. What you thinking about me for? What, you don't have no wife?" Hey, look, Ak, I appreciate that, man. It's okay to show affection to your brother. Everything's so what's the word I'm looking for in this society? Everything's so damn off, man. That this society make that everything's full. Really, it comes from the amount of hatred that we have towards another. You know, that's what it comes. There's a spirit of so much hatred that you hate your brother so much. This an affection that you've never seen or love that you never seen, you're at odds with it. Like a damn wild pit bull you try to pet, man. And all he knows is violence and variance and strife. And he's comfortable with that because he's a product of his environment. And you got to be born again, man, and love how to show affection to your brother. And the Lord said, "Weep with them that weep. Hey, mourn with them that mourn." Man, let me get that real quick. I want to get this in Sirach, the 7th chapter, right? Quick precept. Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 and 34, right? It reads, Salakia, "Fail not to be with them that weep and mourn with them that mourn," man. Right? It's all right to weep with brothers, man. It's all right to mourn with brothers, to be there with brothers, man. Right? It doesn't make you any less of a man. It doesn't make you the damn top Israelite because you don't mourn. Yahushua wept and they saw the spirit on Yahushua. They said, "Oh, how he loved him." Speaking of Yahushua's love towards Nazareth, man. And that John 11 chapter is an emotional chapter, man. The Lord, if you was here, he wouldn't have died. And Yahweh, he's going there and, he's weeping. And it's a lot going on, man. Yahweh said he groaned in the spirit. It reads, be not slow to visit the sick, for that shall make thee to be beloved. Whatsoever thou takest in hand, remember the end, and thou shalt never do amiss. Right? Let me get another one real quick. Brothers,
I was just gonna say they called this gay for one time just for standing on the line. They says too many men, y'all gay. Right. Another person said they called this homosexual for calling another brother king. We said, hey, king, get this verse. King, why is he a king?
Right.
Jake mind is polluted.
Right. And like brothers are saying, that comes from these curses. Jake, that comes from these curses. All Jake knows is a hard dap, you might do the little one hug piece, man. The little, Jake know what it is, man. Jake in the ancient world, Eddie give a brother a hug, man. Like I went into the precept, hey, brother, wash your feet. Look how Abraham took care of Yahweh and the angels. Do a feast for him, man. So the level of love and the sacrifice and the affection that we had towards each other was a lot greater than it was now. But I want to get this one quick precept. Right, this 2 Samuel chapter 23 and 14. And David was then in an hold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. Right, a hold is like a cave, a pit, an uncomfortable, narrow place. And David longed and said, oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. And the three mighty men break through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto Yahweh. And he said, be it far from me, O Yahweh, that I should do this. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? Therefore, he would not drink it. These things did these three mighty men. So the brotherhood that David had with these mighty men was on a whole nother level. They were willing they put their life on the line to get David a cup of water because he was thirsty. They broke through the hole to get David. They went to Bethlehem. God knows where they came from, but they went to Bethlehem. They drawing water is slave labor. That's not an easy thing to draw water. So they drew the water out the well. They had David on their mind. Then they killed Philistines and broke through the host of an army to give David the water. Right? And this is sacrifice that you do for your brother. You put yourself in the things you got on the back burner, and you may have to go through pain, man. You may have to drive and waste gas money to pull up on a brother, man. You may have to stay up late to talk to a brother. You may have to get up early, man, to prepare a lesson for the nation. There are things that you have to do that make you selfless, which is a trait that you should have and want to obtain into for the benefit of your nation and your brother. And even David, in his mind, he didn't even drink the water because he knew the sacrifice that these men had for them, huh? Right? For him, and he poured it out and he wouldn't even drink it, which shows that the brotherly love and the level that David was on and that his men were on, right? And all flesh consorted to his like, right? But brothers got it.
Salakia, two quick things. Gabar said he was backstage.
Okay.
And another point is, here in Babylon, this place is confusion, right? We don't understand what true affection and love is, right? All we know is as young men, we were taught boys don't cry. Don't show too much emotion, right? You got to be a soldier, right? We was taught how to be the opposite of how the Lord told us to be. And this coming to the truth is knocking down strongholds to teach men how to truly be men. It's all right to cry, right? It's all right to shed a tear because a brother gave up the ghost. It's all right to tell a brother I love you, or to call a brother and say, I was just thinking about you. I pray that everything is good. Right? In the world, like the brother said, brothers be like, yo, what that stuff you on? No diddy. No homo, pause. Right? And that mind frame is still coming into the truth. That's why you had the camp banging. That's why you had brothers making videos about brothers. You had brothers making diss tracks about brothers. Brothers fighting when they see each other. Babylon is corrupting the truth. And brothers are allowing that to happen because you don't put a fine line between serving the Lord and separating from the world. Once you find out that serving the Lord is truly loving your brother, all else goes out the window. And you truly become a man in your Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But brothers got it. That was just a quick point.
I was going to say, in Exodus 17 and 12, Moses had help because his hands was heavy. Sometimes in his life, our hands are heavy. Or perhaps maybe it's your thoughts that's heavy. Your heart is heavy. Perhaps even it's your body that's heavy. I've seen a brother, kind of help a brother to his car. Put his hand around his back or around his neck. Kind of walked him to the car. Brotherly love is deep. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat there on it. And Aaron and stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And not only did they give him help him with his hands, but they gave him a seat too. Now it doesn't say if they sat down too, but they gave him a seat, and then they helped up his hands to keep it steady. And again, that steady, that balance, that stability is everything. And he got that from the brothers. He didn't get that from the heathen. He didn't get that from animals. He didn't get that from an angel. It was from brothers in the flesh on earth through the spirit. Not to deny the angels and how they serve us through the spirit, but on this level, in this context, he had two mighty men that helped him. Nobody didn't say, "Oh, no Diddy, pause, Aaron, Moses, you gonna let him hold your hand, hold the staff with you." Nobody was saying all of that. It's probably exhorting it.
Con, you had something else on that, yard done?
It's like with that I yield. Oh, and it's like, and not only that, at the end they prevailed.
Right.
With stability, they prevailed. So stability, that's how you win battles. And those thoughts that may be heavy, those brothers that they help you alleviate your thoughts with precepts or counsels, anything. With that I yield.
Con. Brothers have something else?
Yeah, I said two precepts if brothers can hear me. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 14, and I'm sorry, at verse 30. And it reads, "For after that, Jonathan, having gathered his nation together and had been high priest, was added to his people, their enemies' purpose to invade their country, that they might destroy it and lay hands on the sanctuary. At which time Simon rose up and fought for his nation, and spent much of his own substance, and armed the valiant men of his nation, and gave them wages." Man. Also, there's also many times, you may have to be there for your brother, man, to spend, much of your own substance. And that's not always when a brother, you know, brothers are going out and they need something to eat, right? And you paying for a brother's meal, man. Right? One of the chief things, man, that brothers can spend that you can never get back is time, man. Right? That time that you may give to being that comforting ear, man. To a brother that may be stressed, man, that may be going through certain things and may just need to vent, and let out whatever that they may be going through. You may need to give away, or sacrifice sleep, right? Hey, brothers, they may have to go to work, right? And damn 2 hours, man, right? But they sacrifice, right, that their bodies, man, right? They may sacrifice their time, their energy, man, right, to make sure, right, that their brethren are straight, man. And then what? Right? And then it said, and arm the valiant men, right? Right. So, as well as being that lending air, you also arm them and may strap them with the precepts, right? Or whatever they may need, man, right, to continue to run the race, man. And continue, man, to fend off the wiles of the devil. Right. Verse number 33, and fortify the cities of Judea together with Beth Surah, that lieth upon the borders of Judea, where the armor of the enemies had been before, but he set garrison of the Jews there. Moreover, he fortified Job, which lieth upon the sea, and Gazar, that bordereth upon Azotus, where the enemies had dwelt before, but he placed Jews there and furnished them with all things convenient for the reparation thereof. The people there, therefore, seeing the acts of Simon, and unto what glory he thought to bring his nation, made him their governor and chief priest, because he had done all these things, and for the justice and faith which he kept to his nation, and for that he sought by all means to exhort the people, man. Right. So you also gotta give those things, man. Right. That your brother who may be at a lower state, man. Right. Who may need certain scriptures, man. Right. Or certain things that can comfort, or that can build them up, man. Right. You gotta be there and have that in mind to exalt your people, man. Right. As they say in the world, man, you're only as strong, right, as your weakest link, man. Right. It doesn't profit if you put yourself, or if you exalt yourself on a so-called pedestal, or a high level, man. Right. But all of your people are wanting or faint, man. Right. Your brother, man, is going through hell, right? But you don't do nothing to strengthen them, man. Right? You just let them continue to wane and wax worse, man, and crumble. Right? Verse 36. For in this time things prospered in his hands, so that the heathen were taken out of their country, and they also that were in the city of David and Jerusalem, who had made themselves a tower, of which they issued and polluted all about the sanctuary, and did much hurt in the holy place. But he placed Jews therein, and fortified it for the safety of the country and the city, and raised up the walls of Jerusalem, huh? Right. So you should always be having a mind, right, or a spirit of zeal to want to fortify your people, man. Right. To not let them to walk into damn ditches, man. Okay. Right. To make sure, right, that those men that they are strengthened up, man. Right, lest they fall, right, lest they be taken by a snare, man, right, a trap, okay, lest they be overthrown, man, right, and then the Lord marks that, and as blood upon your hands, right, and the judgment may fall upon you, man. Right, I'm gonna get one more precept, Second Maccabees chapter 12, right, through the Spirit, man. Right, Second Maccabees chapter 12 and verse. I'm gonna start at verse number 42. Right, actually 43. And when he made a gathering throughout the company to the sum of 2,000 drachms of silver, he sent it to Jerusalem to offer a sin offering, doing their end very well and honestly, in that he was mindful of the resurrection. For if he had not hoped that they that were slain should have risen again, it had been superfluous and vain to pray for the dead, and also in that he perceived that there was great favor laid up for those that died godly. It was a holy and good thought whereupon he made a reconciliation for the dead, that they might be delivered from sin. Right, and also, one of the mightiest ways, right, to also being your brother's keeper, man. Right, is not also being there for them in life, but also being for them in death, man. Right, praying that the Most right, may forgive them of sins that they may have done, right, that may be known or unknown, right, that they may be found blameless, man. Right, being mindful of that, it's like being mindful of that resurrection, right? Because man, what is right once you give up the ghost, man, right? There's no praying or asking or beseeching the Most High, right, from the grave, man, right? But the but the Lord said what, right, in verse 45, that there was great favor laid up, right, for those, for those that died godly, man, right? It was an holy and unholy and good thought, man. Right. So it's a mighty thing, man, to think upon your brethren, man. Right. That may have fell asleep in this truth, man. Right. That their sins may be forgiven. Right. That they may be found first to rise in the resurrection, man. Right. The Lord even tells you that in the law, man. Right, in the book of Leviticus 24 and 60, it's like it, 26 and 40 on down, man. Right, to making sure that you're praying for your forefathers, right, right, and for their sins thereof, man. Right, that we may be found blameless, holy, and acceptable before the Most High. Right, it reads, whereupon he made a reconciliation for the dead, that they might be delivered, that they might be delivered from sin. Right. So these are even, brothers have brought out many plethora of ways, man. Right, of making sure you are your brother's keeper, man. Right, whether it's giving a rebuke, man. Right, whether it's building them up, right, whether it's being there for them and times of need, man. Okay, right, and being there for him and being faithful, right, and in this present world and for the next world to come. But with that, brothers got it.
Come. All right, mighty points. All right, let's go to the mighty book of John, chapter 19 and verse 38. All right, the book of John, chapter 19 and verse 48. It's like at 38.
Salakia.
All right. Right, and it reads, it says, and after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahushua. Right, and this is a beautiful account, right, because this is being your brother's keeper, man. Yahushua fell asleep. And you have Joseph of Arimathea. He's being his brother's keeper. He's caring for the body and begging of the body of Yahushua. That he may what? That he may wrap it and give it a proper burial. That's the type of brother you want to have, that no matter what's going on, whether you could defend yourself, right, or whatever the case may be, a brother may fall asleep. You may need to help that brother, man. Or brother may be falling asleep spiritually, or brother may just need help that he can't help himself. You need that brother to step in, man, and do what needs to be done. Right? It says that he might take away the body of Yahushua. And Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore. Right? This account, isn't just okay, Joseph of Arimathea, he pulled up, he asked a couple questions, and he got the body. No, keeping everything in context, Pilate, he's a Roman governor, man. He's a big deal, right? He's not just anybody, right? So to come up to these men of a high stature of renownedness of the earth, that's like going to the highest ranked, whatever the case may be, uh, judicial president or whatever the case may be, and coming before his courts and asking anything. He could have very well grabbed him up and started scourging him. So, I mean, he had love and he had guts and he had that type of spirit of love for his brother to even do something like that, man. That wasn't easily to be done, right? It says, and there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Yahushua by night and brought a mixture of mirth and alloys about 100-pound weight. Right, so they all came together for Yahushua. Right, they got all of the mirth, the alloys, and all of the nice things that you would have for a proper burial for a king. Then took they the body of Yahushua and wounded it in linen cloths. Right, so that was a beautiful thing for Israel to come together for the love they had for Yahushua to give him a proper burial. Right, to take that woman, that linen. It says now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and the garden a new sepulchre, wherein was never man yet laid. There laid they Yahushua their forth because of the Jews' preparation day, for the sepulchre was nigh at hand. And you want to have that type of spirit of love like these men did for the Lord, man. And standing up for the Lord is another thing of being your brother's keeper, man. Right? I'm going to get this quick precept. Right? I want to get one more through the spirit. Let's go to the mighty book of Genesis. Let's go to Genesis, right? Chapter 40. Let me see what I want. I want to get, matter of fact, I want to get 50. Genesis chapter 50 and 15. Genesis chapter 50 and 15. Right? And it reads, it says, and when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us and will certainly require us all the evil which we have done unto him. And a brother could very well have that mentality to get back, man. And Jake known for that get back. Here it is 15 years later, and you just can't wait to get that sweet revenge, man. Right? They call it stunting on people. They got those high school reunions. Here it is 20 years later, and you're still worrying about somebody that did God knows what to you in science class. You still remember that, right? You marked it in your mind. Right here, people have all of these death wishes, right? They're writing everybody's name down from 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. All these grudges and hatred instead of being healed by that and forgiven, man. You take more weight off your shoulder by forgiving and loving than you do showing hate, right? It says, and they sent a messenger to Joseph, saying, thy father did command before he died, saying, so should ye say unto Joseph, forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sins. For it did unto thee evil, and now we pray thee, forgive the trespasses of the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, fear not, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. That's a beautiful type of spirit Joseph had, man. Because Joseph, I mean, second in command. He had gold, riches. He could give orders. He could do whatever he wanted to do, man. Right? He could have very well had those men destroyed. Right? He could have he had the type of power in Egypt to seize people's food, to be able to have trade to come in. Right? I mean, he had power in Egypt. And he could have did what he wanted to do. But he didn't do that. And a large amount of being your brother's keeper is not exercising that revenge and that power when it's in your hand to do so, man. Because the true power is in the hand of the Most High. So you don't want to exercise things, right? You may ask a brother for $5. He says no, but then you have $30 and he asks for $1 and you say no. So you don't want to have that type of evil spirit rendering evil for evil. Joseph didn't have that. He had a meek, lowly, loving spirit, man. Right? It says this, now therefore fear ye not, for I will nourish you and your little ones, right? And that's to the point that brothers were bringing out earlier. It's okay to nourish your brother, man. Hey, Paul spoke about that, man, right? Do not I nourish you like a nurse nourish her children? Paraphrasing greatly in First Corinthians. So like Thessalonians, right? So you want to have that type of nourish and type of spirit, like Paul nourished the church. You want to nourish and help your brother with everything they need. Right? It says, and your little ones, and he comforted them, meaning he gave them smooth words, kind words. Brother may be beating himself up, maybe feeling like, oh, I don't know what to do. And the Lord said, the merciful man doeth good to his own soul, but he that is cruel troubleth his own flesh. So you could trouble your own flesh by getting on yourself. Damn, I was late. Oh, I didn't read today. Oh, I haven't fasted in a week. Oh, I didn't. And now you start beating yourself up and you're being cruel to your own soul. And then you start to feel like you're not becoming of being in this truth. You start to wax worse and worse. So it's beautiful that you got a brother that could comfort you. Hey, Ak, we all fall. Hey, Ak, you did go off, but guess what? Hey, the Most High meant it for our good. To be comforted is a good feeling, man. Especially from a brother you look up to, you have respect for, or you love, right? It feels nothing better than that, man. Look, Ray J down the street trying to comfort you. That's not good, man. Right? Your teacher in school trying to comfort you on your grades, that doesn't feel good. When you actually feel short, and a brother that's in the faith and this truth comforts you up in the spirit, that means something, man. It feels good, man. It hits your spirit and your soul. It gives you that type of mentality to keep going and to be stronger. It says, and he comforted them and spake kindly unto them, right? Like the Lord said through the hand of the Apostle Paul, right? Lest Satan should get advantage. Because a man could get swallowed up, right, by over much, man. Let me get that real fast, and the brothers got it. In 2 Corinthians chapter 2. So you could get swallowed up by over much grief. A brother getting on you, being cruel to you, right? You're not in the spirit. So it's good to be comforted by your brother and hoped. And Paul knew that, man, right? Yeah, I want to start maybe at like verse 4, Baba Gashar. It says, for out of much affliction and anguish of heart I wrote unto you, right, with many tears, not that ye should be grieved, but that ye might know the love which I have more abundantly unto you. But if I have caused grief, he have not grieved me, but in part. I mean, it's not that serious, right? That I may not overcharge you all. Sufficient to such a man is this punishment, which was afflicted of many, right? So, I mean, a lot of brothers will get on you. So you don't need that next brother to get on you. That may be what they call the tip of the iceberg, man. You know, next thing you know, the brother cutting himself. You know, the brother got demons on him. He don't come around no more. The brother starts to doubt his truth, this truth, man. He gets swallowed up by overmuch grief. It says, so that contrary-wise, you ought rather to forgive him. Because if you don't forgive a brother, that could eat away at their mental, man. If I did something off to Yardan and it's 3 years later, he hasn't forgave me, and here I am trying to give him a hug and he pushing me off. Oh man, you off, brother. Brother, you off. That start cutting the brother, man. Like, damn, man, what can I do? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, brother break down, start crying. Right? He'll call another brother. I mean, was I that evil? Like, you won't get overly damn afflicted. And Paul knew that through his wisdom, man. He said, so contrary-wise, ye ought rather to forgive him and comfort him. And that's that word comfort again. Because when you comfort a brother that's in need of comfort, there's no greater feeling. It says, lest perhaps such a one should be swallowed up with overmuch sorrow, man. And that's a demon. It says, wherefore I beseech you that ye would so like you confirm your love towards him, right? It says, for to this end also that I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether you be obedient in all things, right? Jumping down to verse, I'll just read it on. It says, to whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also, for I forgave anything to whom I forgave it, for your sakes, I forgave it in the persons of Yahushua. Right? Meaning, I mean, you may not want to forgive a brother, man, but so what? You forgive him in the name of Yahushua. You may not want to do things You may not want to go as hard. You may not want to afflict your body in these temperatures. You may not want to do certain things, but you have to in the name of Yahushua. That's what you're commanded to do. This is what you need to take on being a soldier of Yahushua, coming in the meekness and lowly spirit of Yahushua. This is what this truth is about changing into the image of Yahushua, not about what's comfortable for you. You have to change. Every day you have to grow into the stature and full length of the Lord. If you're not changing and uncomfortable every day, you're not growing. That means you're stagnant. It says, verse 11 is the point, lest Satan should get an advantage. Because all Satan is looking for is a little inch, a little centimeter to get into that brother's mind. It says, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And his devices could come what? Through love. By you not exercising love to your brother. That's one chiefly of Satan's devices. Satan's devices isn't always the internet went down, man, and you were live, right? Or God knows what happened, man, right? That's not always Satan's devices. See, Satan can play off of love, meekness, lowliness. The things you think Satan wouldn't be around, he would chiefly be pouncing and walking to and fro in those same admirations and places. So you want to make sure, right, that you're exercising love, lowliness, meekness, and comforting your brother when he falls. It's very important in this truth. Because think about it. When you were at your lowest point in this truth, last point, when you were at your lowest point in this truth, if it wasn't for the Most High using that brother or that sister to lift you up, you may not have ever came back in this truth. Brothers got it.
God, the brothers have anything else? All right, we kind of brothers can bring out closing precepts. Brothers got them.
Con, I'll bring it up. Right, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as Salakia will come on thee quickly. Salakia, remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So continue to watch, do the will of the Most High, be patient in this truth, man, right? And consider what we're into, right? Consider the latter end. Consider salvation. Consider the end of the world, man. Consider the days we living in. And make sure that you're apping yourself to continue to arm yourself as a soldier. Brothers got it.
God. It reads in Sirach chapter 35, verse 4, thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord, for all these things are to be done because of the commandment. And in these last days, we have to make sure and examine ourselves daily to remember that you have to bring some sort of offering before the Most High God, the fruits of the Spirit, love, His praise, and of course, loving your brothers. You can't come empty before Him. It's a constant work. You can come empty before Him by stop serving Him. That's how you come empty before the Lord. Or bringing bad fruits. All right. With that, I yield.
Con. This is Judges chapter 5 and 11. Right. Israelite classic. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous act toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. So now is the time to rehearse the righteous acts, right? Continue to put forth all you can to show Israel love, be your brother's keeper. Know that in this flesh you're going to fall short, but as long as you have breath in your lungs, you know the Most High is giving you a chance to repent and do better the next day if you're allowed to see it. With that, Shalom.
Right on. Book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse number 9. To let love be without dissimulation, abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good, be kindly affection one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one slocky and one another, man. So with that, definitely want to continue to urge all Israel to continue in brotherly love, charity, rebuking those things which are evil, and clinging to that which is good, the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Alms, charity, right? All the things that are righteous in the eyes of the Most High. So with that, brothers, got it.
Let me get I think Yaradon fell off. Okay, Con, I want to get a classic, right? Revelation chapter 22 and 12, right? It reads, "And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be." You know, so all praise to the Most High. I mean, brothers made a lot of beautiful points, man. And you know, these are the things that we need as a nation, man. You know, if we were to did this video getting on a so-called white man in a review of Esau kissing the boot, you have 600 people watching, man. We had a video of an Eve in the streets twerking and shaking her behind, and brothers went up there and they was getting on the face, and there was a tussle and a fight, and it'd be 9,000 people tuning in, man. You know, but you know, that shows the spirit of where we're at as a people, man, and how much growth we have to have, man. You know, because these lessons are important for us, man. You know, for one another, for your households, your wives, your children, us as a nation. And these things got to be applied and spoke about more, you know, through the spirit as a nation, man. You brothers that are in camps, over cities, these are the things that we have to exercise, because these are the things that help build a nation and that are going to bring about the fruits for salvation. And the Most High is going to reward you according to how you deal with your brother, right? And again, not just what you know, but what you do with what you know, right? You know, so with that, we're going to close up, giving our honor to Yahweh Shem Shai, but Naquam.
Shalom, brother. Right.
Brother
Shalom.
Yaradan, Shalom. Oh, slack you. Brother
Shalom.
Yaradan, Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom, brother Gabar, Allah.
God. Shalom.